Good morning. My name is Katie Theoharides. I'm the Energy and Environmental Affairs Secretary for the Baker-Polito administration, and I would like to welcome you today to the Massachusetts Department of Conservation and Recreation's Hatch Memorial Shell here on the Charles River Esplanade. The Hatch Shell is named in honor of Edward Hatch, who died in 1910 and had deep roots in the Boston area, and his sister donated this space to be a public park and provide access to people in the city of Boston and around the region to come and recreate. The trustees of the land built a permanent concert shell, and that has now become and evolved into a space that hosts concerts, movies, speeches, and other large events. Perhaps none is more iconic than the 4th of July celebration we're preparing for this Thursday, when thousands of visitors from near and far will descend on the Esplanade to celebrate the 4th of July with the Boston Pops and other special guests and performers. The Department of Conservation and Recreation take great pride in helping to plan and host this event, and I want to take a moment to recognize the commitment and tireless work of the employees at DCR who make this possible. In addition to their daily operations, staff work countless hours over the next several days and in the weeks and months before the event to support this event, which carries out DCR's mission to protect, promote, and enhance our commonwealth of natural, cultural, and recreational resources for the well-being of all. And I think this place here at the Hatch Shell and along the Esplanade is a great example of those goals of nature, culture, and recreation coming together right here in the heart of the city. And because of this resource and how important this resource is to our park system, it's essential that immediately after the event, DCR is committed to returning this vibrant space back into its natural splendor. And so we'll be working really hard immediately in the hours following the event to clean it up and get it back to its normal operating state. The Esplanade has always been and will continue to be a space where families, students, tourists, and residents from across the city and across the globe take a break from the hustle and bustle of the city, spread a picnic blanket, or just pause while walking home from a long workday to catch a spectacular sunset over the river. The work of DCR and all of our partners is essential and does not go unnoticed, and I want to thank each and every one of you who make this event possible. For those of you who are coming to Thursday's festivities, I want to make sure you plan ahead to ensure everybody keeps safe, and folks here will speak more about that in a moment and is able to fully enjoy all of the festivities. And I hope everyone who ventures to the Hatch Memorial Shell has a wonderful time celebrating with us, and I wish everyone a happy, safe, and relaxing 4th of July. I'd now like to introduce Governor Baker, who will say a few words about the event.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. So good morning. Let me start by saying that I was just talking to Keith Lockhart about this, and this will be the 45th show here on the Hatch Shell to celebrate the 4th of July and American independence. Over the course of that 45-year period, I think it's fair to say that this has become an iconic event, and it's also been one that everybody who's involved, the folks from the private sector, the folks from the city of Boston, the folks from DCR, the folks from the Massachusetts State Police, and all the other players and participants take extremely seriously. And there's a tremendous amount of work that goes into making sure that this is the safe, fun, and enjoyable event that it's supposed to be. And it's been that way for 45 years. But part of that's because of the work that's done to plan and organize this affair and these activities, and the work that's done to follow through and execute on that. And I want to start, first of all, by thanking the BSO for the role that they've played over the past 45 years in making this tradition what it's become. Secondly, I want to thank Eaton Vance and Bloomberg for their sponsorship. Third, I want to thank the City of Boston, and especially the folks from the BPD and from the EMT, and the EMTs who are involved in this for the work they do of providing public safety and support services. And of course, I want to thank all the folks associated with environmental affairs and the folks at DCR, as well as the Massachusetts State Police for the role that they play. The most important message I would just send to all those who are planning to come is follow the directions, do the things that are prescribed for all of you in advance of this show. Come and enjoy the show, and let's make sure this is another wonderful, safe, celebratory moment here in the Cradle of Liberty on this iconic Hatch Shell to celebrate once again American independence. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. Next, our Undersecretary of Public Safety and Security, Jeannie Benicorsa Thorpe, will say a few words. Great, thank
Thank you. Thank you, Governor Baker, for giving our public safety professionals the tools they need to do their jobs and keep people safe here, tomorrow, Thursday, and every other day. I'd like to thank the Massachusetts State Police as well and our local and federal partners from law enforcement, Homeland Security, emergency medical services, emergency management, and our fire prevention brothers and sisters. As in the years past, visitors will see a large uniformed presence along the Esplanade. State police will be on foot, but also on bikes, motorcycles, and horses. You'll see the Marine unit in the water, and you'll see the air wing in the sky. We'll have a large plainclothes presence too. These will include troopers specially trained to spot behavioral signs and indicators consistent with potential threats and bad actors. And while these festivities begin tomorrow with the concert rehearsals, the State Police Fusion Center and the Boston Regional Intelligence Center have been for weeks collecting and analyzing intelligence and potential threats. They will continue to do through the end of the event. Whether you see them or not, these folks have one mission: to protect everyone's safety. At this stage, there is no specific threats or credible threats to the venue. All the same, our team will be operating on heightened alert posture. Our most valuable public safety asset will be the members of the public. Anyone who sees anyone or anything suspicious in the area or has any information about a threat of the event should immediately tell a uniformed officer, a police officer, or call 911. We will depend on you. If you see something, say something is the motto of the event. It's important to note in advance about road closures, voting restrictions, and what will and will not be allowed on the venue. All of these details will be on the State Police Facebook and Twitter pages, as well as the other agencies' partner websites. It's important to note that before you come to the venue. Absolutely no drones will be allowed over the site on the 3rd or 4th. Air traffic control at Logan Airport will not authorize any private drone use in the area during the time, and the FAA has issued a temporary flight restriction for any unmanned aircraft systems. I have to be clear about this. The use of civilian drones in the area surrounding the Esplanade will be illegal and could expose the operator to the drone to state and federal charges. It's very important for the public to understand that. Additionally, the possession and sale of fireworks to individuals is unlawful in Massachusetts, not to mention dangerous and even deadly without properly trained. Our shared goal is to maximize security and minimize the threats for visitors, staff, and the musical program. We also want to promote a fun, friendly, family atmosphere. This is a major event from a public safety perspective, but first and foremost, as the governor mentioned, it's a celebration. Let's make sure that we stay safe, successful, and have a terrific event. Again, if you see something, say something. Thank you.
Thank you, Undersecretary. Now turn it over to Boston EMS Chief James Hooley.
Thank you, Madam Secretary, Governor Baker, and all of our partners in public safety and with the Pops and Boston's 4th of July. On behalf of Boston EMS and all the men and women who work there, I want to thank you for inviting me down to speak, but also wish everybody a happy Independence Day as it's coming up. This is one event that we are so happy to always be involved in. We have over 800 special events in Boston that of various sizes every year that we have to provide EMS coverage for. But this is really the jewel. This is it's such a great day. Our personnel love coming down, and for the most part, it is such a good family event that just even interacting with the public, it's something that we look forward to. And really, it's not a detail we have trouble filling, to be honest with you. So with that in mind, I was going to tell you that we have extensive plans for coverage down here because we do anticipate larger crowds as the day grows on. We're going to have over 100 additional EMTs and medics assigned, not just along this area here, but also augmenting with additional ambulances downtown and the approaches around here, but also our neighborhoods, because this is, after all, not just an event down here. It's a citywide, it's a national event. So we step up our posture citywide, so we'll have plenty of reserves to bring down here should we ever have to do that. We're going to have EMTs down here on bicycles, on John Deere gators, so we can get around. And in the thicker crowd areas, we use proceed-out teams, where we go out coordinating all of our actions with our public safety partner to the UCC that's set up across the way at Fisher College. There's great grid maps that have been created by emergency management and all the planning folks down here, so that it's pretty easy for us to locate folks down here if there's an emergency. We'll also have folks out on the water for the viewers there. And of course, our partners, Cambridge Fire and the other towns surrounding us, they've all beefed up their plans to provide emergency medical coverage on the Memorial side, the Cambridge side of the event. The best medicine and the best advice I can give is for participants who are coming down here, yes, to enjoy themselves, but also if you can try to avoid wind up having to be in an ambulance or an emergency room. And some of that can be pretty simple. It can be really hydrate, push the water, not the alcohol, and really try to stay out of try to avoid long periods in the sun, unless you've got the hat, the umbrella or something, because a lot of people do come down for the day. But, grab some shade, grab some respite, pace yourself there so that you don't become a victim of the heat. We're looking at maybe 90-degree temperature, thank God, for a change. But it's something that you have to be mindful of. If you have any problems, there's going to be plenty of us down here, plenty of public safety, police, fire, EMS. We'll all be wearing the fluorescent yellowish green things. Just come up and ask for help, and we'll direct you to the nearest EMS tent, or we'll send somebody out to you. Footwear, we'd be surprised. A lot of people don't realize how much walking there is down here. A lot of minor things are foot-related injuries. So little things like that you can do to prevent yourself from becoming a patient. And just lastly, if you're not feeling well, you just maybe just getting over something, if you think it's too much, I understand it's going to be broadcast on TV and on Bloomberg, so maybe that's your year to sit it out and watch it on TV. But otherwise, we hope to see everybody down here, and we look forward to a great event. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now I'll turn it over to Transit Chief Kenneth Green. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I always want to thank the media in helping us to get our message out to the public on public safety things, as well as transportation things. In a couple of days, there'll be several 100,000 spectators coming from New England as well as the world onto the Esplanade to get a first-hand view and to be part of a rich tradition. It is our hope that the vast majority of those spectators heed the wise advice of public officials and utilize the MBTA transportation to get to and from the show. In regards to service on the 3rd and 4th, service on MBTA July 3rd will operate on a regular weekday schedule. Subway service on July 4th will operate on a Sunday schedule until 2 p.m. After 2 p.m., subway service will increase to rush hour service in order to accommodate the expected large volume of people coming to view the show and the fireworks. It's important to know, if public safety dictates, Charles MGH Station is subject to be temporarily closed or have service bypassed. Again, that's only if public safety issues should arise. Also on the 4th, commuter rail service will operate on a Saturday schedule, and the last train may be delayed, have a delayed departure time. At 9:30 p.m., all fares will be waived. If more information is needed, please access our website at mbta.com. With that being said, I want to remind everyone that this is a family-oriented event. To please be courteous to one another, and especially mindful of those with young children, the elderly, and people with disabilities as you utilize the MBTA transportation system. alcohol consumption or unruly behavior will not be tolerated. We'll have an increased number of uniformed presence as well as plainclothes officers throughout the system to ensure that everybody has a safe and enjoyable ride. Currently, there are no known credible threats to this event or to the MBTA for that matter. However, we'll continue to be in constant communication during the day and night with our local, state, and federal law enforcement partners regarding any intelligence related to this event. As always, we like to ask the public's help. If you say something, say something. I know that's kind of cliche, but it's important. If you see something, please don't hesitate to contact the transit police or any public safety officer for that matter. Together with the public's assistance, we can all have a safe and enjoyable 4th of July. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. That concludes the first part of our program on security and state agency response. I'll now turn it over to Pam Picard.
Hello, thanks for all coming today. My name is Pam Picard. I'm the executive producer and broadcast and media director for the BSO. Thanks for joining us as we put the final touches on this 4th of July. We're thrilled to have the opportunity to produce this again, to make the 3rd and the 4th free for everybody who wants to come down and celebrate. And of course, we would like to thank the governor for being here and all of the public safety agencies. We really could not pull this event off without them. It is imperative for their support and their continued generosity. And it didn't just start recently. These are ongoing conversations that we have for months, and their partnership is crucial to the success of our event. I'd also like to thank our sponsors. We have 2 of them here today, Dan Cataldo, who is Vice President and Chief Administrative Officer for Eaton Vance, our presenting sponsor, and Al Mayers, who is the Head of Media, Radio, and Television for Bloomberg. They have been imperative to our success, and this is their 3rd year joining us. They're woven into the fabric of the Boston Pops Fireworks Spectacular. But before we hear from them, I'd like to introduce Conductor Keith Lockhart, who will be raising his baton for the 25th time here on the 4th of July. And Keith has something to talk to us about the program and I think a special announcement. Keith?
Thank you, Pam. Good morning, everyone. And it's a thrill to be here with you, and I would be remiss if I didn't, number one, thank all of you in the media from being out and joining us, helping get all the messages out, not only about all those necessities that we need to think about on the 4th in terms of safety and security and health, but also in terms of the kind of program that we're trying to put on for you. I'd like to add my thanks personally to Governor Baker for being here today and for all of his and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts' support of this iconic Boston and American event, and also all the officials who have given you information so far today. What I'd like to point out about them is they are representative of literally thousands of people who work together behind the scenes. Those of us in the Boston Pops, myself, we're the lucky ones because we're the ones that get to take the applause. But there are thousands of people making sure that this event comes off without a hitch, as it has for many, many years now, and we couldn't do it without them. My thanks as well to the vision, the support, the encouragement of Eaton Vance and Bloomberg, without whom this event would not be able to go forward in the way that it has and would not be broadcast into homes all over this country. I can't believe that this is the 25th time I've been doing this. I'm trying to keep it fresh. I hope I haven't repeated myself too much. But it is kind of amazing to think that the Boston Pops fireworks celebration started in 1974, and I've now done more than half of them. And I have to say, if there's anything in my job that never gets old, it's this opportunity to present something that is so important, that means something to so many millions of people, that is not only a signature event for the city of Boston, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, but I think is really, to my mind, where America spends the 4th of July and where we get to celebrate our hopes, our dreams, our visions for this great country of ours. This year, I think we have assembled, well, always on the banks of the Charles, we assemble an audience that is the most diverse audience of Americans that we ever bring together, and not only on the banks of the Charles, but on television sets and streaming online all over the country. We have everybody from every walk of life joining us during today. And what we try to do at the Pops is have a lineup of soloists who reflect the diversity of our audience. And I'm thrilled with the lineup we have this year. Headlining, we have Queen Latifah, the American actress, singer, rapper, producer, and an extraordinary ball of energy on the stage. She is one of the most exciting performers I've ever shared a stage with. We had the opportunity to work with her at the Pops in Symphony Hall in 2017, and we've literally been begging her to come join us ever since. It's finally worked out, and we are thrilled to have her with us. As many of you may have heard, this is the 50th anniversary of Woodstock, that little gathering that took place on a farm in upstate New York and really changed the course of American popular music history forever. The Pops will be paying tribute to Woodstock this year with an appearance from somebody who was actually there on that stage, the legendary American singer-songwriter, folk artist Arlo Guthrie will join us, and we'll be playing other music from that incredibly important and watershed moment in American musical history. We are joined by, we try at the Pops not only to bring in established stars, but to bring people in who are, you're going to look back and say, I knew them when. We're joined this year by 16-year-old Lynn native Amanda Mena, who is just an amazing talent and has rocketed to stardom over the last few months through her performances on America's Got Talent and the Spanish language version of The Voice. She will be singing with us throughout the show. We're also joined by the Navy Sea Chanters, whom we're thrilled to have provide the choral moments and the choral accompaniment to them, as well as to perform on their own. The two F-15 Eagles will also join us sometime around the end of the national anthem. And the U.S. Air Force Honor Guard from Washington, D.C. will be doing the honors at the beginning of the program. But you already knew all that because that's in the press releases that have already been sent out. I do have an exciting announcement, and we're incredibly happy to announce a new addition to the 4th of July lineup. Her name is Amanda Gorman. She is 21 years old, and she's the person standing over here. She is this country's first ever Youth Poet Laureate. She's a senior at Harvard, and she will narrate her own poem, Believer's Hymn for the Republic, accompanied by the Boston Pops playing the Battle Hymn of the Republic. In her role as Youth Poet Laureate, Amanda has spoken to the Library of Congress, as well as other prominent venues across the country. The LA native has also met with Michelle Obama at the White House, and is the founder and executive director of One Pen, One Page, which promotes literacy through free creative writing programming for underserved youth. I'd love to ask Amanda to come up and say a couple words about how it feels to be here. Amanda, will you please join me?
Thank you. It's a long title, but I'm a little poet. Thank you for that. Good morning, everybody. I'm just so excited and thrilled to be here. I want to extend a huge thank you to the Boston Pops, and especially Keith Lockhart, who just really embraced this idea with such enthusiasm. It's rare that I ever get to collaborate with a lot of people in writing a poem, needless to say, with people who exhibit such high standards of artistry. So it's really been such an honor. And I remember me and Keith were emailing back and forth when we were thinking about this idea, and we really agreed that we wanted a musical and poetic composition that felt anthemic, which also spoke to these higher ideals of America, of belonging, of diversity, as he mentioned, of equality. And so I'm just very excited to be able to bring that on the stage, and I'm going to just end it there. I wanted to keep my remarks short, and that is it, but just to reiterate how excited I am. Thank you.
I have to say I had the most fun email exchanges with Amanda before I'd ever met her. Truly a extraordinary creative force who has really brilliant, beautiful, and thought-provoking things to say about this country we love, and I know this will be a highlight of this year's program. It's my pleasure to now turn the microphone back over to our executive producer, Pam Picard.
As you can see, I think we have one of the most patriotic celebrations this year. It's going to be an exciting lineup. I would now like to give the microphone over to our sponsors to let them have some remarks. First, Daniel Cataldo from Eaton Vance, followed by Al Mayers from Bloomberg. Daniel?
Thank you, and I'm glad I get to follow the poet laureate. So my name's Dan Cataldo. I'm the Chief Administrative Officer of Eaton Vance. For those of you who don't know Eaton Vance, we're a money manager based here in Boston. And in fact, Boston's been our home since we were founded 95 years ago. So our roots are deep here in Boston. I have been fortunate enough to work for the company for 35 years. So a lot of history with the company, a lot of history in Boston. This is our third year as presenting sponsor of the Boston Pops Fireworks Spectacular. And as a company with the roots that I discussed in Boston, we're just thrilled to be associated with such a great tradition. If you think about the annual calendar of events in Boston, there are certain things that stand out. For instance, opening day at Fenway, Marathon Monday, the frequent championship parades that we have. But one thing I think that parallels all of those is this event here on the Esplanade. It's just a great event for not only people of Boston but our country. And we could not imagine a 4th of July without this event, without the Pops playing at the Hatch Shell, without the cannons firing during the 1812 overture, and without the spectacular fireworks. And Eaton Vance and all our employees are just so very proud that we can do our part in making this happen. So we can think of no better way to honor America and to give back to our hometown than being here to help present this show. So thank you very much, and we look forward to the 3rd and the 4th.
I get to go last. I'll keep it brief. So, anyway, I represent Bloomberg. I grew up in Melrose, so this is always a thrill for me to come back home and be a part of an event that I was there in the very early years. So, here are my remarks. It's hard to believe summer is in full swing and the 4th of July is here. On behalf of Mike Bloomberg and Bloomberg Philanthropy, we are once again delighted to be the media partner of the Boston Pops Fireworks Spectacular. At Bloomberg, we believe being part of the community is key to our success. We are committed to a thriving, vibrant Boston, as represented with the Boston Pops, the Museum of Science, the Rose Kennedy Greenway, and many other local nonprofits. Today's events are particularly meaningful given how they honor our service members and celebrate what unifies our nation. They emphasize a long-held Bloomberg truth that we are more powerful when we work together. Today is also about celebration. Returning to this enchanted oval brings back the joy I felt going to my first concert in the early 70s. I'm told we process music with both sides of our brain. Perhaps that's why I remember the beauty of the many concerts I attended so vividly, starting with Arthur Fiedler, continuing through John Williams, and 25 years of Keith Lockhart. Can you believe that? 25 years. I'm getting old, but I love every year of it. So, to me, July 4th on the Esplanade in Boston rivals the beauties of the paintings or sculptures I saw on my recent trip to Paris. I love this event. This is great for Boston. None of that would be possible without David Mugar's vision and generosity, which have sustained this event for more than 4 decades. Bloomberg and Eaton Vance have stepped in recent years, but it is important to remember that community support is critical to the survival of this event. From the very bottom of my heart, I encourage you to support this celebration and to appreciate what we've accomplished, and don't take it for granted. That said, we've made it easier than ever to enjoy the concert. The excitement spreads beyond the banks of the Charles to the Rose Kennedy Greenway, where we will host more than 150 veterans and their families, including 75 sailors from the USS Vela Gulf. If you can't make it in person, you can still enjoy the concert globally on Bloomberg TV or locally through our partner 7 News. You can listen on Bloomberg Radio, 106.1 and 92.9 FM HD2, as well as Easy 99.1. The concert will be heard nationally on Sirius and XM channel 119. It will stream on Bloomberg.com, as well as Bloomberg's mobile platform TikTok and OTT platforms. Bloomberg anchors Alex Steele and Carol Masser will co-host the concert and broadcast, with additional reporting backstage from Matt Miller and Janet Wu at the Greenway. So thank you very much, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy the show.